this computer.
Hmm.
Okay, and let's see, I kind of want to start with me. So I should have done that. There we go. Okay, so everybody welcome to the 5th session of Seminole Patchwork with Paper. I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time. We're going to start right in and get to work. And then as things are drying a little bit, I'm going to do a little bit of Seminole history. And then we're going to get back to the cutting. So I'm hoping everybody's, I'd love to sort of see, oh, I guess I can't. No, hey, Amy, could you put it on gallery view for yourself? And I'm going to ask a question, and I just would like to know how many people think they'll be working along with me. Just sort of like raise your hand and then let Amy tell me about how many she sees. What do you think, Amy?
Like around 10 or so?
Perfect, perfect. Okay. So I'm going to be, some of you may have made the tool, and you'll get to use that today. If you haven't made the tool, you definitely need the number 3 PDF. So it's one or the other. If you have both, that's fine. But I want to get started right away, like I said. And what we're going to do is, let's see, move to here. What we're going to do, and again, this is for time as well as what I also have planned. I'm going to, unless you're really, really comfortable gluing something all the way out and think you can do it in the same amount of time as I glue half, I'm going to be gluing these just the half pieces, because this design works with the half pieces. And I guess I should show you what we're making. Today we're going to go full diagonals. And this is pretty much the type of pattern we're making, but there's a surprise twist in it at the end of when we get this far. So, so I don't want you to cut out, when we do this, I don't want you to cut out more than about half of these anyhow. So I think you're going to love the surprise twist at the end. So the way this will go will be,
Hi, how are
will
you?
be
I'm okay.
will be yellow.
Uncle Gary?
Oh, somebody, we can hear you.
He just has a hard time sleeping, number one. He hasn't slept in months.
Let's see, who are we hearing?
Study.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just going to mute everybody if I can. Or maybe I got them. Okay, so it's going to be like this. Let's see, pink, one more pink. Yeah, pink. Okay, so let's get gluing together. And actually,
3 or 4?
this is on 2. This is
Oh.
we're just gluing down on 2 right now. Okay, so this is sort of the way we've been working with these straight lines, but this is just for the gluing down. The 3 we're going to work on later, unless you've got the angle tool. And scrap paper. And if anybody wants to ask any questions while we're gluing, I think I could handle that.
Paula, the odd one is in the middle.
The odd one is in the middle. Yes, it goes yellow, pink, red, pink, yellow.
Thank you.
Somebody's already at the middle, and I haven't even got my first one down yet.
How wide is the pink?
So the pink is 3 units wide, and the yellow is 6. So basically, It's whatever the yellow is, it's half of that.
Thank you. I think I read my symbol directions wrong. But I have a knife.
You know, you may have, and if you want to just work with what you've got, it'll come out different, but it'll be interesting no matter what. So I would say don't recut. Do you know what the measurements you have are?
I have 1 unit pinks, but I can do 3 unit pinks in a heartbeat.
Okay. And I will be doing, while things are drying a little bit, I will be doing that a little bit of Seminole history. So if you need that little time to catch up, that's sort of built in today. And I think next week, let's see, next week is getting close to Christmas, but I was thinking that next week, after our half hour ends, I'll get on and we can continue working together if anybody wants to. Just sort of as a midterm relaxation time. Okay, I'm going to turn my screen. I'm going to turn my change my view of what you're seeing. So if you want to look up just to see what I'm hoping that you'll do, right now I can look at it before I turn it away. And we'll let this dry while I talk to you about other stuff. So let's see, I'm going to share my screen. In a minute. Okay, so what I'd like to do is talk to you a little bit about something that was pretty much important in the Seminole history and also in the history of this country. You may have heard the term parlay. It's a conference between opposing sides of a dispute. I have this little clip that I'm going to show you just a few seconds of. And I want to point out something to you about it. It's really a beautiful clip. It's from the Last of the Mohicans, and it's just beautiful. And you see what you're seeing here is, I'm going to back it up a little bit. What you're seeing here is you're seeing two armies coming together to talk, to negotiate. What I want you to notice about this depicts the French and Indian War up in Canada. What I want you to notice about this is that both sides have their colors, both sides have their men, and both sides have this big white flag blowing in the wind there. So those are the important things, and they're there to negotiate. Now that's a parlay. Let's see, I'm going to get rid of that, I think. I'm going to have to do it by a stop share and start again. No. So, I'm going to keep talking while I try to figure out how to get back to the screen I want. What I want to do is talk about the parlay. So it's been a part of history for a long time, the history of war, that when you get together to talk, it's not like you send an email, you like two guys meet. It's you bring your whole army. And perfidy is a war crime. And so what that is, to not respect the parlay is a war crime, and it's a real stain on whoever does it. So during the Seminole War, when Escuela was humiliating these generals, General Thomas S. Jessup took particular offense at being humiliated. He couldn't win a battle, and even when he would capture Seminoles, they would manage to escape. He was a very determined person, and so what he did, he's resorted to capturing Seminole leaders under the flag of truce. This is the thing that will all through eternity be most remembered for. So that's the way Escuela was captured. He came with his army of 60 men to talk, and he was surrounded, captured, thrown in jail. You may remember that we saw a image of Escuela early on, and no one, I just wonder if you wondered, how did they get these portraits? If you notice, there's a bunch of portraits that have a similar look to them. What happened while he was in prison, they shipped him to one of the Carolinas. I can't remember which one now. And in Fort Moultrie, they shipped him up there. He was already sick. He had been captured with 60 of his warriors, most of whom were able to escape. And after they escaped, he was shipped up to Fort Moultrie. He had either malaria or a form of tonsillitis they call quinsy, but he was clearly dying. And while he was there, it's like he was a celebrity. Painters came from all over, and he would put on his finery and he would sit for them. And that's how these paintings of him came to be. So as I mentioned before, he died in 1838, and this is just an important part of the Seminole history that that I wanted to talk about, because it's also something that it was such a horrifying thing to do. You don't capture someone when they're under the flag of truce, that it really turned even more people against this war. And Jessup never recovered, his reputation never recovered from it. Okay, I'm going to stop the share now, and we're going to get to cutting. Let's see, stop share. Did you actually see that share? Yes, okay. Because I didn't see where I hit stop share. Okay, so here we go. We're going to cut this now and get out our cutting tools. This one we're cutting because these are threes, these middle ones are threes, we're going to cut them in threes. And then I want to talk to you about this a little bit. So before we do any gluing. This is exciting for me because this is the first time, even though we did something with the diagonals last time, we're going to be doing more with them this time. And I'm really curious to see how you do with it. I find I've got the most accuracy if I just press lightly and repeatedly. Okay. Now, for any of you who watched the video that showed the tool, you saw these patterns. This is similar to what we're making. And if you don't have the tool, don't worry about it if you didn't see that video. But this is sort of what I showed here. And this is, if you'll notice, if you have the eyes to see it now, this is just 5 strips that are the same. And that makes a beautiful pattern. But to make this into a band, like if you wanted to cut it out so it was a band, you'd have to cut like this close to the pattern, which would be fine. All right, there's nothing wrong with that. But what we're going to do is we've made our yellow longer. You see it's longer. So if I wanted to cut this as a band, you can see it has more of a band kind of look because let's see, I'm going to use a different color up here. Because I've got that extra area top and bottom. Okay, now it's tricky to get things at a 45-degree angle, and that's what these are all at. These are 45-degree angles. These are squares that have been tilted 45 degrees. If you don't have the tool, but you have a white piece of paper, if you have the tool and the white piece of paper, you can use that to create a line on your paper, the way I showed in the video, by putting your tool here and then marking a point and a point. I'm going to use the number 3 just because not everybody may have the tool. So I'm using the number 3. And what we're doing here, and like I said, there's a really interesting twist at the end of this after we glue them down. So I'm going to try to move right ahead with that. It's really easy for these to drift. Sarah Barton put a really, she sent me a picture of one and says, yep, they drifted. What I like to do is make a line and have one of the squares in the middle meet that line. And it's very tempting to not keep things right on that line. So on this one, I'll just start doing it. And then after putting down the ones I have, I'm going to show you the twist at the end. So I'm going to use a glue stick to glue these, or you can use your tool and a piece of white paper. So I can see that it's at a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to go with a certain line. And take your time, especially with the first one, because everything else is going to be lined up to that. This one looks like it didn't match entirely. And you can see a little bit of mismatch. One thing is sometimes I need to be attentive to putting it on this way or this way. You would think it shouldn't make a difference, but sometimes it does. So if I was wise, I would have marked sort of which one was the top of each one of these. And I didn't, but I will try to remember to do that next time so I don't get that little bit of drift in the center. That's part of the reason why it drifts. There's like minute amounts of minute amount of things that aren't just quite accurate. Okay, we have 8 minutes left. How's everybody doing with this? Can you just give me an idea? Yeah, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Yeah, it's working out for you. You're getting that diagonal. Okay, I'm gonna want some people to hold up and show me when I turn off the recording. Okay, wherever you're out working now, I want to show you this bit. And that's the last one I'm going to show you, then I'm going to turn off the recording. I was talking about bands, but it's tilted that way. So if I wanted a band, maybe I'd have to do that, right? Which is an awfully short band. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to notice that I've got a full square here at the end. And I'm going to cut pretty much anywhere at the end of a fully pink square. But I want to make sure that I'm cutting, I don't want to get all the way over here, all right, because there's nothing at the bottom. So I'm going to cut right here. I'm going to use the pattern to help me be accurate with my line. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut this whole piece off. Sure, it's cut nicely. Then I want this to be the same thickness as what I'm going to line it up to. So what'll end up happening is I will end up taking this whole thing, maybe gluing it up here. With this next to it. And look, you've got your band. Oops. Yeah, there it is. There it is. And there you've got your band. Okay. So I'm going to turn off the recording.